Open blind.
Sure, opening blind.
Hi there, today we're unboxing a blind engine. So this particular one is by a company called Brunt, and it's the version 2 of their blind engine. So details in the description below for anyone thinking of purchasing. So let's take a quick look around the packaging. So it comes nicely packaged with a picture of the actual blind engine. If we come around here, just an image of what the phone app would probably look like. Main features here, so mobile control, scheduling, multiple control, location recognition control, and voice control with AI speakers. Okay, coming around this way, blind type compatibility. So it has different types of blinds it's compatible with, mentions the type of blinds it's not compatible with, and blind cord compatibility. So shows the sort of cords and the gears you'd have to use. So there's different types of gears with these types of devices to enable you to actually control your blind. Okay, so if we come around here, just some branding, Brunt, unconventional lifestyle, and that's it. So let's open it up and see what you get in the packaging. Okay, so I've laid out all the items you get in the packaging, so let me quickly go through them one by one. So initially you've got a user manual, multi-language, first part being in English, and looking through this seems pretty straightforward. Then you've got a bag containing some screws for mounting the actual blind engine. No raw plugs, just to note. Okay, next you've got a power adapter, and if I come in close, you can see 12 volts, 2000 milliamps. Cable length is 3.2 meters in length. Good cable quality on this, and DC power adapter. Okay, next you've got two cogs to put in the actual blind engine, and if I come in slightly closer, you can see it says ball chain and cord. So there's the two types it's supported, and tough plastic on this, and looks like some black markings on this. Okay, that's that. Two sticky pads, 3M, so that's for attaching if you didn't want to mount via just screws, you could just stick it on. Okay, so the actual blind engine then. So compact design to it. I've just covered up some serial numbers there, and just to show, you've got two buttons, up and down direction, and a button here. It looks like an LED indicator there, branding there, Brunt, and coming down here, the DC connector on this. And if I now lift this one, and the back plate comes off. So obviously screw holes there for screwing it in, and you can see a ridge there. And what that is, once you've mounted it, it gives you different adjusting positions. So if you want to tense it up a bit more, you can just pull it down further, and again you can adjust it and remove it simply as well. Okay, coming around here just to show, and there's a slight recess there. If I put my nail in and pull it open, there you go. So that's where you put the cogs in. So just to show, there's a slot on there, so it's not completely round, and it just fits straight on there, so nice and tight. I'll just give this as a demo. Obviously it doesn't spin around, the motor's keeping it quite tight, and that's how it looks. Okay, in terms of dimensions, let me get my ruler just to show. So you're saying about 13 centimeters, around 12.5 to 13 on there, and thickness wise just under 4, and depth is just under 4 as well. So design wise looks good and quite compact. Okay, so let's make a start at setting up this blind engine. So first of all, I'm at my Android phone. Let's go to the Play Store and search for Brunt, and it's this app here. So let me install that. Let's give it a moment. Okay, so now the app's installed. Let's click open. Okay, it needs access to location services. Okay, next we need to sign up. So let me do that off camera. Okay, so I've signed up an account, and let me click login. Okay, so this is what we're initially presented with. My device, and no device is connected to mobile yet. Please connect device. Brunt blind engine. Yeah. And Brunt blind engine hardware installation guide. So yeah, and Brunt blind engine hardware installation guide. So it just describes obviously taking off the cover here, mounting the correct cog on here, the gear, and then mounting position wise, obviously to keep it nice and tight, and then mounting options. So you can use obviously the sticky pad provided, the 3M pad here, or you can just use the screws and screw the plate at the back on. Okay, if I keep going, obviously it's saying keep it nice and tense and attach the cover back on there. Okay, so installation is finished. So we're going to skip this step initially. Let's get the app set up with the actual Brunt device. So we'll say installation is finished. Now it's ready to connect to app. So let's take the plug. I've got a power strip at the side. Let me plug it in there, and we'll just plug the Brunt in like so. Okay, and we'll click connect. So initially it's saying to start with the connection, make sure to connect the power source to the device. Is the red light blinking? Please plug power adapter to Brunt blind engine. Does red light blinks once per second? And looking here, looks like it is. If I click yes to that. Okay, so connection settings. If I now click next to that, and it says Wi-Fi connection, it's searching. So if I now select my test network and let me enter in my Wi-Fi password off camera. Okay, so I've entered in my Wi-Fi password, and one thing to note is this device only supports 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. It doesn't work on 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, so keep that in mind. Okay, so let me click confirm now. Okay, so blind cord type, choose your blind cord type. So we're going to go for ball chain and click save. Okay, now it's saying set the lowest position. So, okay, so it looks like it's all connected now. And just to show, you can see the motor running, and that's the lowest position. So if I click save, set the highest position, click save. We can adjust this at a later stage, but obviously this is just to get it configured initially and see if it's working fine. Okay, let's give it a moment. Okay, so there you go, successful. Mobile and device are successfully connected. You can use device from now on. Okay, getting started. And there you go. There's the blind engine, and quite straightforward to use. If I pull this down, engine initiates, closes it. You see it pausing, and then if I pull it up, leave a bit of a gap, it should run and just get it into that position. There you go. Oh, it's showing open. Let's go further up. Okay, this is flashing. Hang on, let's go down. Oh, there you go. Okay, and you can control like this as well. Quite slow, I have to admit. There you go. Okay, so quickly looking through the options you have available. So you've got scheduling down here. So you can set a timer. So once, daily, weekly. There you go. You can set days as well, and you can say, for instance, at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:50, for instance. You can set it to be 50% open. And there you go. There's a timer down below. You can set multiples. Again, I can say on these days, 17:23, I want the blind to close. And there you go, simple as that. And you can see it down below. And again, you can go in there, make amendments. And as easy as that. Okay, looking here in the corner, Brunt blind engine and scheduling. Okay, got the schedule there. Going back in. share permissions, so you can share it with another person. Okay, next, modify name, reset blind length, and device disconnection. So reset blind length, meaning now we've just tested it out to confirm it's working. We'd want to go through the reset on this when we install it correctly, and just to ensure we get the right top and bottom settings for the blind. So there you go, simple as that to get set up and get it configured with the app. Okay, so I'm in the room where the blind engine is going to be installed. The blind's just over here. At the side there, we've got the pull cord. So if I come all the way down, the blind engine is going to be installed on the side just over here. You can see a small piece of wood I've got on the wall. That's from a previous review I've done. So rather than make additional holes, I've just screwed in the piece of wood, and obviously we're going to put the blind engine on that piece of wood. Now, if you're installing this, you'd probably want to make the holes directly into the wall or use a sticky pad that comes with the actual setup. Okay, so we're closer to where the installation is going to be, and there's a pull cord. Looking in the instructions, the cog suitable for this installation is this one here because of the actual size of the beads on the pull cord. So if I now put the cord around there, just to show, and we can put the cover back on, no harm in that. And then obviously you want to place it into a reasonable position where it can be screwed in. It's very straightforward. Put the plate on the back and look from the side, make some markings where you're going to screw in, and then attach the blind engine. Okay, so the back plate's installed now. I've just put 2 screws in, but there's possibility of obviously 4. And it's just a matter of now taking the blind engine, sliding it in position, make sure the pull cord's on there, and just adjusting it so it just sits in nice and tight. So, bit of plastic at the back, and there you go. Feels quite tense on there. You can pull it more if you want to, and that's why you want to put it in a reasonable way that it can be pulled down if you need it slightly more tense. Okay, so next let me put the cover back on. Very straightforward, obviously just clips straight in. Okay, so next let's test out the actual switches, and just to ensure it's got sufficient torque on there to drop it and lift it as well. Okay, that's working. And that's working as well. So that's good. So it's a good installation, it's fitted, and there's sufficient power on the actual blind engine to lift and drop the blind. Okay, so now the blind engine's installed, what we want to do is reset where the top and bottom of the actual blind is. So coming into the app, if we click here and we click reset blind length, okay, so it's saying obviously to reset the device. Okay, so if I now hold on to the button on the front here for 5 seconds until it starts blinking. Okay, and I can see it blinking away now. Okay, so next if I click confirm. Okay, so next if I click add, Brunt blind engine. Okay, do you want to start setting your Brunt blind engine? And go back to the bottom here, click connect. Okay, and it is blinking. Click next to that, and let me select my test Wi-Fi network and enter in my Wi-Fi password off camera. Okay, so I selected my Wi-Fi and entered in my password for my Wi-Fi. Let me click confirm. Okay, so it's now connecting and saving details to the actual blind engine. Okay, we're going to go for ball type here. Click save. Okay, now we can set the lowest position. And if we look here, at the bottom it says reverse mode off. Check if the blind moves in the opposite direction. So if I click that, because I know it's running in the opposite direction. So now if I click there, works correctly. And if I click there, you can just see. So we want to go for the lowest point now. And the lowest point I'm going to set is just there. Okay, if I click save, next I want to set the highest point. Okay, that's the highest point. I'll click save. Okay, let's give it a moment to connect. Okay, so now it's saying successful. Let's click getting started. And there you go. There's the blind engine saying connecting in the corner there. Let's click on it. And it's still saying connecting. I'm going to click it anyway, see what happens. Nothing, obviously. Let's give it a moment to complete connecting to it. Let's try pulling it. There you go. Finally kicked in. There you go. Okay, picture hasn't updated. Just a note, if I now just go like that. Excellent. Okay, that did work. Let me try the button after it comes back. Okay, let me press that. Okay, now it's working. Good. So I guess it's just initial teething problems getting it going. So I don't like the responsiveness on it. I would have preferred if it was a bit more responsive than how we're seeing it. Let's try it again. So as you see, it's now closed completely. Okay, and it's come back. Let's try opening it again. See, it's a pause, which I don't like. Wish it was a bit more quicker to kick in. Obviously, it is going over the internet and doing this. But you can see it in action. It does work. It does seem to be working well. Now, next, let me try turning off my Wi-Fi. Okay. Let it connect to 4G. There you go, it's connected to 4G. So now if I click down, see if that works. Yep, that works. So cloud-based connectivity on here, and no need to be on your Wi-Fi network to control it. You can do it when you're out and about. And no ports to open on your router. So there you go, works well. Let me open as well, just to prove the point. When it comes back finally, see, this is it, the ticking away. What is it doing? Why is it doing it? Must be registering the fact that it's completed the action. So there you go, it's done it finally. Let's open it, and again on 4G, there you go. Works well, but just performance wise, not that quick. Okay, next let's try opening it half the way when it comes back. Okay, so there you go, it's open. Let's pull it down a little bit. Perfect. There you go. So it works well. So you can pull it down partially as well. You don't have to go all the way to the top or all the way to the bottom. So seems to work well, just performance wise. I think it's a little bit sluggish. Okay, so next I'm going to show how to set up the Brunt to work with both the Amazon Alexa and the Google Home. So I've got my devices set up just below the blind up here, and I've got my Android phone here. So very straightforward to do this. Let's go for the Google Home first. So if we go into the Google Home app on my Android phone, click here in the corner, go to Settings, Assistant, and Home Control. Next, you want to add in the Brunt service. So as you can see here, I've already added it in, but if you haven't got it, obviously add it in. It'll ask for your credentials for the Brunt app. Once you've entered those in, it will link with your account, so your Google Home account, and then you should have the functionality available. So if I go back now and go here just to see the devices I have, going right to the bottom, I've actually called it blind. So the one here, and if we go into it, you just see the fact it's added in and it's called blind and it's linked to Brunt. So now if I say open blind.
Sure, opening blind.
Close blind.
Sure, closing blind.
Open blind 80%.
Okay, opening blind to 80%.
Open blind 10%.
Okay, opening blind to 90%.
Close the blind.
Sure, closing two things. Sorry, it looks like the bedroom isn't available right now.
Open blind 10%.
Sorry, it looks like the blind isn't available right now.
Open blind.
Sorry, it looks like the blind isn't available right now.
Okay, so there you go. It does work. It can be flaky at times. So as you see, I have managed to open it, close it, open it a slight amount so you can give it a percentage, but then sometimes you can lose connectivity. And again, action in it, there is a slight delay, but simple to set up and configure as you've seen. Okay, so next I'm going to show how to set up the Brunt with the Amazon Alexa. So if I go to the Alexa app here, okay, we click in the corner here, go to skills and games, search for Brunt. Okay, and the one we're after is this one. So Brunt Smart Home Skill. So if I click on that, I've enabled it. So if you haven't enabled it, obviously click enable, enter in your credentials to link the actual skill into your Amazon account. Okay, so once the skill's enabled, so if I now go to devices and we go to all devices, okay, and there it is, blind. So if I click on there, I've called it blind. You can see the details there regarding it. So to control this, obviously there's no options available via the Alexa app, and the same applies for the Google app as well. So obviously you can do nothing with it other than voice commands. So with this, now if I say open the blind.
Okay.
Close the blind.
Okay.
Close the blind. Close the blind.
Okay.
So there you go. It's a bit of a tricky one with the voice commands. So on and off, it can work, and occasionally it doesn't work. And as you can see now, I've tried a couple of times and it won't close. So really tricky. Why isn't working? Connectivity is not too bad in terms of Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi extender, which is connecting to the Brunt, is probably about 5 meters away, you know, behind a wall. So connectivity is pretty good, and if you look on my phone, you can see signal strength is quite high up here at the top. So it's not connectivity. I just not sure why it doesn't connect sometimes. So some of the times it will work, sometimes it won't. So a little bit hit and miss with voice commands. Okay, so you've seen the unboxing and setup of the Brunt Blind Engine version 2. So in comparison to the version 1, I think they've improved it quite considerably in the fact that the version 1 did struggle with blinds, but this one, the actual motor seems much stronger on there. I did try the version 1 initially with this blind you're seeing in front of me, and it did struggle with it. Hence, I know it is an improvement with it. Cog seems stronger as well, which is good. So in terms of functionality, they have improved it so it can work with the Alexa and the Google Home. But the thing to note about this functionality, it does seem a little bit intermittent. Sometimes you do lose connectivity. And again, even with the app, it's not instant responses on there, which I was a little bit disappointed with. I like it, obviously, if you've installed this stuff, you've got a good strong Wi-Fi signal, performance should be instant or within a few seconds. This, it does pause for a while, and it does feel sometimes, especially with the voice commands, that it's a little bit hit and miss if it's going to work or not. So it has advanced along quite a bit, the actual product itself, but for me personally, I don't think they've quite reached that point where it's perfect. So there you go. Hope it's helped anyone thinking of purchasing this. Details in the description below. Thanks for viewing, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.